Hello and welcome to Reboot Theater. I'm your host, the Invisible Man. So here's the sitch. It sucks. For those who may not remember, Kim Possible was a fantastic cartoon that aired on the Disney Channel, which featured a mild-mannered teenage girl going to high school, dealing with homework, extracurriculars, and oh yeah, she has a super spy action hero who saves the world from certain destruction on a regular basis! You know, like everyone does. This show was definitely one of Disney's finest. And with the sole exception of Gravity Falls, I would probably say Kim Possible was the greatest animated series Disney has ever had. So what did they do? All aboard the nostalgia train! The remake no one wanted, no one needed, and absolutely no one asked for. The moment I heard about this movie, I had low expectations. When I heard they cast an actress who looked nothing like Kim and had no acting experience, I had even lower expectations. And when I saw the trailer, my hopes dropped like a lead balloon. But even after all of that, even with those incredibly low expectations, it was even worse than I predicted. How did this movie go so wrong? Let's break it down and find out. Wow. I mean, that's gotta be some kind of record, doesn't it? 2 seconds in, and the film has already lied to us. Original movie? Yeah, and I'm the Queen of England. There is nothing original about a remake of a pre-existing show.
Guess what? I don't want it.
That's like calling something a sequel, even though all it does is follow the exact same plot as the first movie. Oh yeah, I went there. We then meet our star, Sadie Stanley, also lying to the audience.
Who am I? I'm Kim Possible.
You sure about that?
No, you ain't.
I don't think so.
You're not Kim Possible. More like a Kim Poster. Oh yes! Yeah, I'm not going to razz on a kid actor too much, but really, I could not take her seriously as Kim for 1 second.
I'm so excited. I finished all my summer reading like 2 weeks ago. I've done a VR walkthrough of the school so I don't get lost. I started prepping for my midterms and finals, because they're only 4 and 8 months away.
Kim is a good student, yes, but she's not teacher's pet. She's the kind of girl who does her homework the morning it's due, because that's just how much she has on her plate. After cheerleading, saving the world, and a cross-Pacific plane ride home, that's the only time she has left to do it. So we see Kim Possible and her sidekick Ron Stoppable, played by Sean Giambrone, who honestly is nailing his character. It's kind of sad because while they didn't get a very good Kim, they got the perfect Ron.
I'm sure Dementor didn't see that. Run! Okay, might have seen that.
We see the two of them prepare to fight Professor Dementor, who has just kidnapped Dr. Glockman, a world-renowned slime scientist. Because it's not a modern adaptation until we work in slime somehow.
The world is mine! Why is it turning all pink and sparkly? I cannot take over the world with the pink and the sparkles. Everybody will make the fun!
As you contemplate why Disney is insulting your intelligence, let's go over the professor. I give them some credit for having Patton Oswalt reprise his role, but come on! He's not even wearing the right costume! And while the cheesy fake accent might have worked on the show, which was supposed to make him seem like an archetype, it just makes everything seem a little too silly. Just a little too silly. And speaking of costumes, you may have noticed something off about Kim's. Instead of cargo pants and a crop top, we got skin-tight pants and a shirt that covers her belly button. Are you kidding me? That's not Kim's mission outfit! In fact, the filmmakers were so proud of this change, they actually go out of their way to point it out!
Hey, why don't you wear this on missions anymore? It used to be your thing.
I don't know, I guess wearing the same thing all the time kind of felt cartoony after a bit.
It seemed cartoony. That's the reason? Well, that makes perfect sense, doesn't it? It's not like this movie is based on a cartoon. Oh, wait.
Without my mission outfit, I'm Kim Impossible.
Kim, I got a target lock.
Really? Really? You made the communicator a necklace? Okay, time for another history lesson, kids. On the show, the communicator was Kim's personal piece of all-purpose tech. It was basically a smartphone, but Kim had one years before they were a real-world thing. It could video chat, gather intel, allowed Wade to hack into robots. It was a damn cool contraption. And in season 4, it got upgraded to a smartwatch. Again, years before smartwatches were a real thing. But apparently we replaced that cool handheld computer with a hologram. Even though past experience tells us that's not a good idea.
Kim, I think I know what Dragon's trying to steal.
Wait, move! I can't see.
Oh no.
You can't dress. You can't fight. You got no mojo.
So Kim and Ron rescue Dr. Globman and defeat Dementor. But not before this happens. I'm sorry, could you slow that down some more? There may be sloths watching after all. Here is a really big problem with this movie. And I'm sorry this is just turning into one bad thing after another, but it's just that bad. It's just that bad. The fight scenes in this movie are terrible. Really, really terrible. You call this a flying sidekick? That looks more like a high school production of Peter Pan! The reason we loved the action on the show was because it was fast-paced. It looked really cool and fluid, and it sucked the viewer into the action. But there is nothing to get sucked into here. These fight scenes are just painfully slow and lazily choreographed. And it would have been so easy to fix. In fact, let me show you just how easily even I, a random kid with no budget, could fix these fight scenes. Look, here's the original.
Ron, grapple me.
And here's my version. Wasn't the second one better? With minimal editing, these fights could have looked a lot more interesting. Then we get a live-action remake of the original cartoon intro. I give them an A for effort, but I think this perfectly sums up just what's wrong with this movie. As a general rule, cartoons do not translate well to live action. They just don't. I don't see Kim Possible here. I see a kid pretending she's a spy.
So what's the sitch?
We then return to the Possible family home, where we see Mom, Dad, and the Tweebs. Well, would you look at that? The boys have blonde hair, even though their dad's a brunette and their mom's a redhead. You do the math on that one.
I'm glad she's home safe and sound.
I'm worried about her not getting enough sleep.
Yeah, well.
Or dissolving in slime.
Parents of the Year? I never considered this before, but it's pretty messed up that they let their teenage daughter go on all these dangerous missions, knowing full well she could die on any one of them. But instead, they act like it's totally normal for her to do this and just act indifferent to it.
South America?
On a school night?
Okay. But finish your piece first.
I actually do have a theory about why they act so nonchalant, but I'll come back to that in a minute. Mom goes up to Kim's room to talk to her about her first day, but Kim insists she has it all under control.
I've got the genes of a rocket scientist and a black belt brain surgeon. I think I'll survive Middleton High.
Was that really necessary? You have to do a forward flip just to leave the house? And also leave on the roof? I thought you were a basic average girl. Why are you acting so weird? That's Ron's thing. Actually, I have a theory about why everything she does is blown out of proportion. It's because in this version, all the spy stuff she does is implied to be in her imagination. She doesn't really save the world from evildoers, she just pretends she does as a sort of game. That allows her to turn everyday scenarios, like catching the bus, into an excuse to play Mission Kimpossible.
Kim, the bus is on your street now.
Oh my god! Thank you, Kim!
No problem.
Think about it. Why else would she do a somersault and pull out her grappling hook just for that? More importantly, why would she have that with her if she wasn't going on a mission? The reason is, all of this is her fantasy. Kim has an overactive imagination, which allows her to inflate mundane things like catching the bus into secret agent missions. But it's really all in her head. That's why the bus driver wouldn't just wait an extra 2 seconds for Kim to get there.
4, 3.
Made it!
Booyah!
I think that booyah just gave me stomach cancer. Now, this was an interesting choice for the movie, making it seem like Kim's imagining all these secret missions and gadgets and villains. But there's just one problem with that. It's not Kim Possible! She's not a pretend spy, she's a real spy! That's what makes her cool! She can do the impossible and saves the world while looking good doing it. But the way they play it up here makes it seem like everything she does is just pretend. Then we cut away from Kim and Ron to see our main antagonist, Dr. Draken.
You defeated my giant robot. You blew up my private island.
Now this is a really good setup. At first it made me happy because I thought we were going to get a darker, grittier version of Draken. On the show, he was anything but serious, and actually thwarted himself on some occasions.
Detonation sequence activated.
You think you're all that, but you're not!
So when I saw the newspaper clippings, I thought, oh yeah, he wants revenge on Kimmy, and he will stop at nothing to have it. Until we see him for real.
Into the alligator pit with you. No, Dr. Draken, please, show mercy. No mercy!
You just can't do anything right, can you? The silly, comical Draken worked on the cartoon because, well, it was a cartoon!
Lather, rinse, obey. Aren't you being a little too upfront here?
Truth in labeling laws, SHEGO. I'm a supervillain, not a corporate shyster. Dr. Dragon's brainwashing shampoo and cranium rings feel like a new you.
But in live action, it's just... And another thing. Why is he not blue? You had one job, guys. One! You couldn't even make Draken blue. Yes, he has blue veins or whatever, but the real Draken has blue skin everywhere. You've made this Draken a joke, even though the original was meant to be a joke. How do you do that? I really want to know. Luckily, we finally meet someone cool, the Green Goddess herself. SHEGO! It's no secret SHEGO is the coolest villain on the entire show. She's hot and deadly, and sarcastic. Lots of sarcasm.
I don't get it. What went wrong?
I don't know. Do you think maybe it was your picture on the bottle?
So I have no doubt they're going to do her justice. How could they not? They wouldn't screw up a character this important. Oh no. What have you done to SHEGO? First of all, why is her skin not green? Secondly, why is her costume not green? Third, what are those gauntlets? Are you telling me she doesn't even have superpowers? She just uses tech that fires plasma? Yeah! The coolest thing about SHEGO is that she can produce fire from her bare hands! She doesn't need training wheels in order to do that, she just does it! And seeing Kim fight someone with superpowers, even though Kim herself does not have superpowers, that we know of, makes it so much more amazing that she can hold her own against SHEGO. But nope, she's just a mildly hot chick with some fancy toys.
Possible. Your end is... No. Probable.
I believe it. Yeah, I totally believe that. This movie is so bad, I wouldn't be the least bit surprised if Draken actually won this time. Then we see Kim and Ron go to their first day of high school, where for once, the filmmakers actually did something right. The running gag where the Middleton High sign always says something funny is kept going here. Finally! Something that tells me you did watch the show! Then we see something just plain stupid when we meet Kim's old nemesis, Bonnie Rockwaller.
Welcome to high school, my little freshman. Oh.
I'm sorry, can you get anybody's design right? Here's Bonnie on the show.
Maybe no one's informed you, but we don't get detention.
And here's her in the movie.
I'm here now, and I want you to think of me as your sophomore big sister.
Show, movie. Show, movie. Show, movie. Show, movie. Show. Do you honestly think she looks like the character? You couldn't even get her hair right. How hard can it possibly be to style someone's hair or have them wear a wig? That can't possibly be rocket science, guys. What up?
When are cheerleading tryouts? Cheer? You want to cheer?
Is this a trick question or something? She's Kim Possible. Of course she wants to cheer.
You want to cheer? School? Yeah, go hang with the losers in Lowerton. This is a soccer school. Tryouts are after class, if you're feeling brave.
I'm sorry, I know that didn't just happen. You're telling me there is no cheerleading in a Kim Possible movie? Nothing? At all? Besides crime fighting, that is Kim's biggest defining trait. She's the captain of the cheer squad and really knows how to bring it.
Tin teeth, I gave her a routine no girl can do.
And in that moment, Bonnie knew. Oh yeah, I am so gay.
Not that there's anything wrong with that. Not at all.
But now you're telling me Kim's not a cheerleader, Bonnie's not a cheerleader, Ron is not the mad dog, and the school doesn't even have a cheer squad. This movie makes me angrier by the second! I'm so mad I could turn green and start smashing things! Then Kim and Ron show up late for homeroom because, well, wouldn't you know it, they renumbered all the classrooms over the summer. Then they walk in and face Mr. Barkin's wrath. No, I'm not kidding. That is Mr. Barkin. Apparently he's fat and bald in this version. Who knew?
Nobody told us they renumbered the classrooms.
Yeah, I did that. Keeps you kids on your toes, on your tippity-tippities.
That's not really fair.
Yeah, I'm with her on this one. That was a pointless thing to do. Barkin is a tough teacher, yes, and he definitely runs a tight ship.
Mr. Barkin, I gotta go.
Not this time, Possible. No excuses. No exit.
Sorry, emergency.
Nobody escapes my detention. Possible, you're going down.
But one thing he would never do is set up his students for failure. When you change room numbers just to troll people, you're a douche.
It takes me 90 minutes to prepare Lady Whisker Boots her low-carb, high-protein breakfast, but that doesn't stop me from being on time.
And in case you're wondering, no! Barkin was not a crazy cat man on the show. Ever! This behavior is only in the movie.
Isn't that right, Lady Whisker Boots? Yes, it is.
Stop.
And if you somehow didn't claw your eyes out after seeing that, I envy you. Then Kim and Ron need to make it to their first class. Time to make things unnecessarily complicated.
Get me a blueprint of any and all vents, tunnels, and roof access points.
Coming at you.
You know, in my high school, we had this little thing called hallways. Ever heard of them?
What? How are you here?
Is your name Kim Possible because it's impossible for you to be on time?
Last I checked, she was on time. She was in the classroom when the bell rang. The real question is, what are you doing starting class before the bell rang? So after the first day is kind of rough, Kim decides to try out for soccer just to rub it in Bonnie's face with how good she is.
Kick this ball into that goal. Oh, and if you don't too terribly mind, my squad and I here will do everything in our power to try and stop you.
An entire team against one girl? How the flock is that fair? But of course, Kim dominates the entire field and even wins Bonnie's respect.
That was amazing. Congratulations to our newest equipment manager! Yay! Did I forget to tell you? Freshmen can't be on the team.
Really? So you think this is how Bonnie acts? Yes, she is Kim's rival. And yes, she is always trying to upstage her. But no, she would not pull a cruel joke like that just to be mean. Everything Bonnie does is done for selfish reasons. She's always trying to boost herself up to the top of the food chain. And she doesn't like Kim because Kim is higher on that food chain than Bonnie is. She sees Kim as her rival because Kim stands in the way of her becoming the queen bee on campus.
Glad you could make it. So not the drama.
But to make her try out for the team, tell her she was amazing, and then tell her, sorry, you need to wait a year before you're eligible. That's just pointlessly cruel. That doesn't benefit Bonnie in any way. She has nothing to gain from it. Then Kim is bummed about having a terrible first day until she finds someone else who had an even worse one.
I didn't make any friends. I just tripped and dumped my backpack everywhere and everyone laughed.
Why are we flipping again? Oddly enough, this is one of the biggest problems I have with this movie. Kim just does crazy gymnastics to look cool, even when she doesn't have to. You don't have to show off, you know, you can just pick up those papers and talk to that girl like a normal person. But apparently the filmmakers really wanted to emphasize Kim's amazing gymnastics. Gee, if only there were some sort of squad where she could show off those skills and it wouldn't feel forced and awkward. Kim befriends the lonely girl, named Athena, and takes her to Bueno Nacho. Oh no! Something that was actually on the show? That can't be right! Ron orders his favorite food, the nacho, and Kim and Athena both order
Cha-cha chimarito, no sour cream. What are the odds?
The next day, Kim and Ron arrive to homeroom late again, and Barkin tries to give them detention.
I'm so sorry, Mr.
Sorry doesn't cut it, young lady. I'm giving you both detention.
Until Athena tells them they were volunteering at a cat shelter.
That's no excuse. I'm sorry, the what?
The cat shelter. For all the homeless cats out there. Very protein deficient and have a very low carb diet. So sad.
Well, I suppose I could let it pass for meow. I mean, now.
And right meow, I just realized the only reason they made Barkin a cat lover was so they could use this excuse later in the movie. That's not worth it, guys. It's not worth it. So Kim and Athena grow closer and start hanging out some more.
Hey, you want to kick this bad boy around a little? Can I pretend it's Bonnie? Way ahead of you.
Well, would you look at that? She drew Bonnie based on how she looked in the cartoon, but not at all how she looks in the movie.
It's like you were born to be my BFF.
You have no idea how right you are, but you'll find out soon enough. Then Kim gets a mission alert and Athena tags along, but before they can leave, she gets a few upgrades. Ooh, rocking the season 4 look. Respect. But as the mission goes on, Athena starts to outshine Kim.
Dude, thanks for the lift. Blue, oh my gosh, I've been a fan of your music forever.
Forever? You didn't even know about her until yesterday when Kim told you about her. And yes, that is Christy Carlson Romano, the original Kim Possible. Then they arrive at the mission site where she immediately finds the secret entrance.
Athena, how'd you figure that out?
I don't know, that is not an apple tree.
Then she begins micromanaging.
Did you try running a 6080 thermal security override?
Oh, but here's something. Ron discovers a little friend in the top secret lab.
Kim Possible, meet Rufus Stoppable.
Okay, you got that part right. At least Rufus is in the movie.
Better hide in my backpack, buddy.
Pocket. Ron always put Rufus in his pocket. Why must you change things for no reason?
Maybe Draken wants to be able to download vast amounts of information into his own brain. To do that, he would need some sort of modulator that translates machine learning into brain.
Okay, at this point you'd have to be completely brain dead not to know that Athena is working for Draken. These clues are about as subtle as killing a fly using Thor's hammer.
I told you, you'd die for that. Oh.
So they discover SHEGO stealing a power source for Draken's machine and put a stop to it.
SHEGO.
Possible. It's been too long.
Alright, here we go. The moment we've all been waiting for. Kim versus SHEGO in real life! Well, that sucked. Then Kim and Ron run into each other and trap themselves in the only open cage in the whole room. Wow, this movie is dumb.
There's something in the water with us.
Ooh? Ooh? That's your first reaction to there's something in the water with us? This thing could eat you, or poison you, or lay its eggs inside your belly button, and your first thought is, ooh?
If I had to guess, electric eel.
Ron, I've never told you this, but I am terrified of electric eels.
Oh, I see where this is going. Draken knows Kim's weakness now, and later he's going to use electric eels to terrify her and stop her once and for all. No? Wait, he doesn't do anything with this information? I thought for sure he would use this. He knows his archenemy's one weakness. He really doesn't take advantage of that? Well, that's kind of disappointing. Much like the rest of this thing. Then Athena fights SHEGO and frees Kim, while Kim makes a fool of herself, screaming for help.
Wait till this clip of her being terrified out of her wits gets accidentally leaked online. Imagine the cruel memes.
I know you did not just say that. You did not just have Dr. Draken say, imagine the cruel memes. What part of that is sinister? It's just stupid! Then the next day, literally overnight, the video has gone viral and everybody loves Athena now instead of Kim. In fact, Athena is so popular, Bonnie makes an exception for her and lets her on the soccer team even though she's a freshman. Really? You'll make an exception for her, but not for Kim? Then she literally becomes Student of the Month, and Kim looks more disheveled by the minute. So she goes to meet with her Nana, who probably has the coolest house since Batman, and Nana teaches her to fight with a bow staff. To be fair, her Nana actually was a kick-ass fighter on the show. Here, she also puts up a good fight, and doles out some good advice to a young teen who's lost her spark.
Nana, I'm Kim Possible, okay? I'm a star student and I save the world. That's who I am.
No, that's what you do. That's not who you are.
I can't help but feel like this is incredibly meta. Just because she has grappling hooks and lasers and saves the world from bad guys, that's not all it takes to make her Kim Possible. You can't just go through the motions and pretend to be her, because that doesn't mean you instantly envelop the character. Kim has a certain look, a certain personality, a perfect quip for every moment. That's what made fans fall in love with the character. It's not what she does, it's who she is as a person. That's what makes Kim interesting. And that's what is severely lacking in this movie. There's no character development or time to get to know who Kim is. We know what she does, but we don't connect with her here in the same way we connected with her on the series. On the show, Kim went through love and embarrassment and all sorts of teenage angst. That made her a relatable character because a lot of people experience those things. We felt like we were living our teenage lives through Kim's eyes. But all of that is gone in this movie. She's just a shallow, hollow shell of her former self. That's why no one believes this is really Kim Possible, because she doesn't show her emotional side.
Oh, hi.
I forgot my,
I was just tying my... See you later, Josh. Bye.
Then Athena becomes so popular, I'm not even joking here, they hold an assembly in her honor as the most promising freshman of the year. Again, I'm pretty sure this is Kim's overactive imagination creating this fantasy and making it worse than it is. I mean, come on, she was voted homecoming queen and king. How does that work? But in the middle of the assembly, SHEGO and Draken drop in uninvited. They announce they are there to kidnap Athena, and Kim springs into action.
Throw it to me! I can do my killer move!
But because Kim still has something to prove, she tries to save Athena herself and be a hero.
got that bill on video.
The villains leave and go back to their lair, where Draken starts taking selfies. Yep, it's come to this.
There's gonna be such epic FOMO!
Hey! Make with the evil plan.
Yes! Thank you! So Kim recruits her mom and Nana to help her rescue Athena, only to find out what we all knew from the very beginning.
I befriended Kim. I surpassed her in every single way, and I broke her.
Yeah, no shirt. Athena was an android built by Draken to steal the spark that made Kim herself.
Kim, you were a garbage friend way before the fight at the assembly. It was great when I was your pet project who blew up your ego. But the moment that I started to surpass you, you fell apart.
Wow. You are actually trying to make this her problem. You think Kim's a lousy friend? Why don't we replay some of your greatest hits, shall we?
You too. Thanks for the lift.
Blue! Oh my gosh, I have been a fan of your music forever. Did you try running a 6080 thermal security override? I didn't. Kim, can I talk to Wade again? Wait, can you run a check on the lab for any sort of circadian-based brain modulation?
You are not the victim here, Athena. You are the bully. You're selfish and self-serving, and you have got some nerve pointing fingers. Then Draken announces he plans to transfer the spark from Athena into his own brain, making himself invincible.
What happens to Athena?
Oh, well, she'll be destroyed.
What?
So Athena stole Kim's spark, and that's why Kim started failing her classes and losing her edge? But then how did she get it back to go on this mission? And how come Athena can steal Kim's spark without killing her, but Draken needs to kill Athena to get her spark? This doesn't even make any sense! Did Athena just copy Kim's spark? And if so, why does Kim get noticeably weaker and paler? But if Athena drained the spark from Kim, then how does she get it back? This entire movie is so stupid! Then we get a bland slugfest, Draken powers up the machine, Kim stops him, and he turns into a child for some reason. I don't know.
This is fan-dragon-tastic. Silent SHEGO!
Then the machine becomes unstable, Draken and SHEGO escape, and Athena stays behind to quell the explosion.
You saved me. Let me save you.
But of course, since it's a kid's film, Athena survives and they rebuilt her good as new.
As for me, learning to be a better friend made me a better hero.
Oh, you want to bet? I don't think you're better at all. You're just like you always were. Still doing flips and tricks, just with a new robot sidekick to help you now. Seriously, how has she grown as a character? I don't see how she's any different at all! And just when you think the nightmare is finally over, there's a mid-credit scene where young Draken enrolls at Kim's school to try and crush her spirit.
My new evil master plan to take down Kim Possible will be my greatest yet.
Didn't we try this once before?
Our target is Kim Possible's first day of preschool. Hey, bullies! Hiya!
SHEGO, help!
What is the sitch with this movie? This is not Kim Possible. It gets everything wrong! Kim is not a cheerleader, her look is wrong, her outfit is wrong, her personality is wrong, the communicator's not a handheld, Barkin is unbearable, Draken's not blue, SHEGO's not green, she doesn't have superpowers, the action is slow and boring, and everything is so over-exaggerated, it makes the original show look serious by comparison. A show that had things like this on it.
What is that? That freaky thing? Come on, y'all. Let the girl sing.
And things like this.
An army of evil zombie snowmen!
Man, I always knew that's what would get me.
And yes, even this.
I am strong like the mountain. I am swift like the wind. I am vengeance.
Sumo Ninja. The point is, the show was very silly, but it worked because it was a cartoon. This movie is just plain nuts. It's ridiculous. The filmmakers couldn't treat their audience like adults. Every single thing in this movie insults your intelligence. It's disrespectful to kids, to adults, to the actors, the original actors, and anyone else who liked this brilliant animated series even a little. Bottom line, this is one movie you can skip. It's no big. I'm the Invisible Man, and when Disney has officially run out of ideas, I got it covered.